What up, world? It's your boy Vic XL, and this is Riding Dirty News and Reviews. And this is my review for the movie The Way Back. All right, this movie stars Ben Affleck. All right, Ben Affleck is a former high school basketball star who definitely broke all kind of records when he was in high school some years ago. And Ben Affleck is battling with some issues, some personal issues that they don't quite reveal at the beginning of the movie. The one thing we definitely noticed very early on in the movie is that Ben Affleck has a drinking problem. All right, this gentleman has a drinking problem, and he seems somewhat as a loner because it appears he lives in this very, very small apartment. It's just him and his beer. All right. At some point in time, early on in the movie, Ben Affleck is summoned by his former high school. This was a Christian high school, and they call Ben in. And when Ben comes in, they basically inform him they would love him to come coach the team. All right. Now, this is the team that he definitely achieved stardom in. But Ben hasn't touched the basketball, watched basketball, or lived basketball since high school. They asked Ben, they basically informed Ben that the former coach has basically had to leave the position due to illness, and they don't know if he'll be back or if he will be back. But they think it'll be a good starting point of recovery for Ben to take over the team. All right, so Ben basically, he's like, look, give me a day to think about it. So Ben goes home, and I'm going to be honest, he drinks himself into a slumber, and he's practicing what he might say if he declines the job. But he doesn't decline the job. He takes the job. All right? He takes the job of his old team. Now, once he's introduced to this team, he realized that this is a team of, first of all, it's a very limited team. They don't have a lot of players, so he's going to have to depend on every player's skill set to make them achieve. So as he continues on to coach the team, they lose their first few games. Not only they lose their first few games, but ultimately they lose 9 in a row. But Ben is somehow able to instill confidence, self-pride, and determination in these gentlemen, and they begin to win. All right, and it feels good to see these young kids achieve and win, especially in this arena where they didn't. Matter of fact, they was kind of looked upon as goofs or clowns. And matter of fact, there's one point in time when Ben is speaking to an opposing coach about his team, and the coach says, "What team?" All right, so as we see Ben drive this team to victories, you would think normally in a movie that this would also lead to him basically recovering the things in his life that he should, but he doesn't. He still struggles in his outside world. So even though inside he's definitely doing his thing when it's come to helping these young gentlemen, he's still struggling with his demons, and those demons are the loss of his family, his wife, and his child. I'm not going to go too deep into it, but he's definitely dealing with those demons. And a lot of people might know in a relationship when there's a loss of a child, it's a lot of times it's very, very hard for the relationship to sustain. And definitely these are the people who definitely put him on the straight and narrow. So once that part of his life is disrupted, he's just not able to pick up the pieces, even when this team is interjected in his life. Basically, when I watched this movie, I was expecting to hear that this movie was a true story, but it's not. But I gotta say, it was very, 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 very well written and will make you think that it's a true story. The one thing about this movie that kind of threw me for a curve, in most sports movies, the team ends up winning in the end, and it's always, hooray for the home team or hooray for the team, because it's always a story of triumph. Well, this movie doesn't quite take you there. The ending, it's not surprising, but it's not your typical sports ending. The one thing I can say is during the entire movie, the coach struggles with his demons, the alcoholism, the loss of his family. Despite the good he's doing on this side of things, he's still struggling on this side of things. So I definitely love stories about overcoming, but I also love realistic stories, because sometimes in life, everybody don't overcome what they're going through. But if you're like me, and if you're a huge sports advocate and you love sports movie, this movie is a must-see. I give this movie a B-, and I only give it a B- because just how deep and dark he went down. There are some scenes in the movie that just seem, there's actually just really one scene that seems unrealistic, but I guess if you're battling alcoholism, it's realistic. But I still give it a B minus. It's definitely a must see. I strongly suggest you go see it. If you're into sports movies, if you're into comeback stories, it's a must see for you. All right, I give The Way Back a B minus. All right, it's your boy Vic XL, riding dirty news and reviews. Let's talk about it.